Tonight, you will walk the same imagined paths that Egyptians once believed the soul would walk. This story is inspired by one of the most fascinating treasures of the ancient world, the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Despite its name, it is not a book about darkness or fear. It was a collection of sacred writings, prayers, hymns, and spells, carefully written on papyrus scrolls and placed in tombs. The Egyptians believed these words would guide the soul after death, opening doors, protecting against dangers, and leading the departed into a place of eternal peace and abundance, which they called the Field of Reeds. Tonight's journey takes those ancient ideas and reshapes them into a soothing narrative. You will walk softly through the afterlife as the Egyptians imagined it, crossing rivers, meeting gentle gods, hearing protective spells spoken like lullabies, and finally arriving in a paradise of calm fields and endless light. Beneath the hush of desert skies, let us begin tonight's journey with a remembrance of a people who lived thousands of years ago, along the steady heartbeat of the Nile. In ancient Egypt, life was not thought to end with death. Instead, death was a passage, a crossing into another world, where the soul would wander, meet companions, and if well guided, find its way to a paradise of light and abundance. To help with this passage, the Egyptians created what we now call the Book of the Dead. It was not a single volume, in the way we imagine books today, bound and numbered, but rather a collection of writings, prayers, hymns, spells, carefully inked onto papyrus scrolls and placed in tombs. Each line carried meaning. Each phrase was believed to help the soul along its way, to open doors, to calm guardians, to banish fear. We might hear the name and think it grim, but in truth, it was not a book about death. It was a book about safe passage, about protection, about comfort. A kind of map of light, created so that those who had departed would not be lost in the silence of eternity. Families commissioned these scrolls for their loved ones, filling them with words of reassurance, placing them beside the departed as if to whisper, "You will not walk alone. Breathe in slowly now and imagine yourself beneath the desert night. The sand stretches out endlessly, cool beneath the stars. The air is dry and still, carrying the faint scent of river reeds and lotus flowers. Far to the east the Nile glimmers under the moon, a ribbon of silver in the darkness. Temples rise like shadows, their stone walls holding prayers carved thousands of years ago. You feel the hush of the desert around you, and slowly you begin to cross the threshold. The Nile is near, its waters deep and steady, whispering as they touch the banks. Somewhere, a soft chant drifts on the breeze, priests reciting ancient words, their voices low, rhythmic, almost like a lullaby. Incense smoke curls into the air, thin and dreamlike, rising like the spirit itself. You close your eyes and let the words wrap around you. They are not in your language, but their rhythm reassures you. They are the same words that once reassured countless souls, whispered across time, passed down like a lantern in the dark. The stars above shimmer faintly. Orion hangs over the horizon, the constellation that Egyptians linked with Osiris, the god of rebirth. The Milky Way arches overhead like a celestial Nile, reflecting the river below. For a moment the heavens and the earth seem to mirror one another, as though the soul's path stretches in both directions, above and below, inward and outward. You feel yourself floating, almost weightless, as though your body is resting but your spirit is stepping gently forward. The river awaits. A small boat sways at the bank carved from wood, simple, yet ready to carry you across. The oar rests lightly inside, waiting. You step in, and the boat rocks softly beneath your weight. The current begins to pull you westward, toward the realm of the setting sun, the land of eternity. Each stroke of the water is quiet, soothing. The reeds whisper as you pass, brushing lightly against the boat. The moonlight glitters on the ripples like scattered gold. You lean back and let the river carry you. The stars above keep their watch. The chant of the priest fades into the distance. Only the sound of water remains, steady, patient, timeless. The journey has begun. The boat drifts softly, as though it knows the way. You rest within it, surrounded by the quiet pulse of the river. The water glides beneath you, smooth and endless, and in its rhythm you feel time itself, slow and steady, carrying you like a lullaby. Behind you, on the shore, faint torchlight flickers in the distance. Priests continue their rites in the temple of the living, their chants steady and low. Their voices are meant for you, protective words, blessings whispered into the fabric of the night. The air carries the scent of frankincense, resinous and sweet, mingling with the smell of the river reeds. Your mind drifts back to what came before this crossing. You see the chamber, lit with oil lamps. Your body was laid gently upon a cool stone table, while careful hands worked with devotion. This was not an act of fear, but of reverence, a ritual the Egyptians believed was necessary for the soul's journey. The priests moved in silence, save for their murmured prayers. Linen strips rustled as they wound them carefully, layer upon layer, binding not with harshness but with patience, wrapping you as though in a cocoon. The air was thick with herbs and oils, cedar, myrrh, and juniper, all chosen to preserve, to protect, to perfume the passage ahead. You see them place amulets along your form, tiny charms of lapis, carnelian, and gold. Each amulet carried meaning, each one a silent guardian. The scarab, symbol of rebirth, rests gently above your heart. A small eye of Horus gleams at your throat, warding against harm. These were not trinkets, but prayers made solid, offerings of love and hope. The ritual was long, but never hurried. Time itself seemed to bow its head, allowing each moment to be carefully given, as though the universe wished for you to be well prepared for what lay beyond. And now, with those blessings still upon you, you journey westward. The river carries you steadily, always west, always toward the horizon where the sun sets each night, sinking into the land of the eternal. You close your eyes, and the rocking of the boat is like the rocking of a cradle. You feel as though you are between worlds, the land of the living behind you, the land of the blessed before you. The river itself is the threshold, and you are carried upon it with ease. Above, the moon drifts higher, bathing everything in silver. The water shines as if dusted with stars. You can almost believe that the sky has poured itself into the river, and that you are floating through the heavens themselves. The sound of the oar dipping and rising keeps rhythm, steady and hypnotic, guiding you deeper into stillness. You glimpse the silhouettes of ibis birds standing in the shallows, their pale shapes ghostly and calm. They do not startle at your passing. They simply bow their heads as if in silent acknowledgement. Further along the bank, papyrus reeds sway in the faintest breath of night wind. Their rustle is soft like whispers, as if the plants themselves are reciting fragments of the old prayers, words carried into the air since time began. The river narrows, and the boat glides beneath a low arch of palms. Their long fronds bend overhead, tracing patterns against the sky, patterns like hieroglyphs written in shadow. For a moment, you feel as though the gods themselves have written blessings into the night above you. And then slowly, the river widens once more. The palms recede. The water glows brighter beneath the stars. The silence grows deeper, until the only sounds are the gentle dip of the oar and the endless pulse of water. In this silence, your thoughts drift inward. You feel light, untethered. The rituals, the chants, the blessings, they have wrapped you not just in linen but in peace. You carry no burdens. The journey is not heavy. Each breath is easy, each heartbeat calm. You sense that you are being guided, though no hand touches the oar. The boat seems to move with intention, knowing its course, as though the river itself is aware of your passage. It carries you without effort, as if you are meant to travel this way, gently, endlessly, into the unfolding night. At last the opposite shore begins to emerge, the land of the west. Low hills rise in the distance, dark shapes outlined by starlight. Beyond them lies the realm the Egyptians believed to be eternal, a land where the soul must walk and be welcomed, protected and guided. The boat slows, the oar ceasing its rhythm. You feel the soft thud of wood against sand as the vessel touches the far bank. The reeds here are taller, thicker, and they part as though opening a passage just for you. You rise, step onto the shore, and for a moment you pause. The air here is different, stiller, heavier with silence. It feels as though you have stepped into another kind of dream, one where the world itself holds its breath. You are not alone. Ahead a figure waits, calm and patient, eyes glowing faintly in the moonlight. The jackal-headed god Anubis, guardian of the dead, stands at the threshold. His presence is steady, not fearful. His gaze is deep and kind, as though he has been waiting only for you. Anubis stands tall before you, his form outlined against the shimmer of the stars. His body is robed in deep black, smooth and gleaming like polished obsidian. His head is that of a jackal, ears pricked and alert, eyes glowing like lanterns in the dark. He does not move to startle you, nor does he raise his voice. He simply waits, steady and silent, a guardian at the threshold. When at last he speaks, his voice is low, calm, and rich, like the sound of earth itself. "You are safe," he says, though the words do not pass through air. They seem to rise directly into your heart, bypassing the need for sound. The journey continues, and I will walk beside you. You feel no fear, only relief. Anubis is not here to judge, nor to frighten. He is the guide of souls, the protector of this passage. His hand rises slightly, and you see the faint gleam of a golden staff. With a small gesture he beckons you forward, and together you step from the reeds into a pathway that seems to unfurl at your feet. The path is pale, lined with sand that glitters faintly, as though mixed with powdered stars. Each step is soft, soundless, as if the ground has been laid just for you. As you walk, Anubis speaks again, not with long sentences, but with thoughts that drift into you like soft echoes. The living prepared you with care. You are wrapped in protection. Each word written for you will open the way. You realize he speaks of the spells, the hymns, the prayers of the Book of the Dead. They float around you, unseen but felt, like invisible doors swinging open with each step you take. Ahead, the pathway opens into a wide plain beneath the moon. Columns rise in the distance, enormous and silent, shaped like papyrus stalks carved into stone. Their capitals spread wide like blossoms, holding the sky above them. You walk between them, and their shadows ripple across the sand, like the bars of some great temple cage. Though here they are not confining. They are steady, protective, like guardians standing tall on either side. At the centre of this plain, a pool of water glimmers, black and still as glass. Anubis pauses at its edge. The surface reflects the stars, so perfectly that you cannot tell where the heavens end and the water begins. He kneels, dipping his staff into the pool, and ripples expand outward in silver circles. "The waters recognize you," he murmurs. "They part for you." And indeed, as you step closer, the pool does not resist you. Instead, a narrow causeway of stepping stones appears across its surface, glowing faintly as though lit from within. You step upon them, each one solid and steady, though the water shifts beneath. The reflection of the stars ripples, and for a moment it feels as though you're walking across the night sky itself. When you reach the far side, another figure awaits. This one is human in shape, though his head is crowned with the curve of an ibis. His long beak gleams faintly, and in his hand he holds a slender reed pen and a scroll that unfurls endlessly. This is Thoth, the keeper of knowledge, the recorder of truths. He does not smile, but there is kindness in his eyes and ageless patience. His scroll shines faintly, the ink upon it shimmering like liquid gold. With slow movements he writes upon it as you approach, his hand graceful and steady. Your steps are written, Thoth says, his voice soft, musical like the flutter of wings. Your journey is recorded. You sense no judgment in him, only observation. Every breath, every heartbeat, every prayer that has carried you here is being traced upon his endless scroll. It is not a burden, but a reassurance, for nothing of you will be lost. All is remembered, all is cared for. Thoth dips his pen into an inkwell, though you realize there is no ink, only starlight gathered in liquid form. He writes upon the papyrus with it, each letter glowing briefly before settling into the fibres. As he writes, the scroll grows, unrolling to the ground, then curling gently into the darkness. You are not alone, he whispers, though his beak never moves. Every soul is known, every soul is guided. You feel the truth of this deep within. You are not passing unseen. The gods themselves walk beside you, watching, guiding, recording, protecting. You are part of something vast, endless, and benevolent. Thoth lowers his pen, and the scroll rolls itself neatly, vanishing into the folds of his robe. He lifts his gaze to you once more, and inclines his head in the faintest bow. Walk on, he says. The path is open. You step past him, and Anubis remains at your side, silent once more, his presence steady. Ahead the horizon glows faintly, not with the cool light of the moon, but with a warmth, golden and rising. It is as though a second dawn waits beyond, a light that comes not from the sun of this world, but from another realm entirely. As you walk toward it, the ground beneath your feet softens, and you feel as though you are treading upon the clouds of sand, each step dissolving into dreamlike stillness. The silence deepens, holding you, cradling you, until all that remains is the golden glow awaiting you in the distance. The horizon glows more brightly with each step, the faint gold deepening into a soft blaze. It is not harsh or sudden, but gentle, like the glow of dawn spilling slowly over the desert. You walk toward it, your pace unhurried, Anubis steady at your side. At last the path opens into a vast expanse where the sky itself seems to descend. The stars thin, the blackness lightens, and before you appears a river of light, broad and shimmering, flowing, not with water, but with radiance itself. This is no earthly river, it is the Solar Barque of Ra, the great sun god, gliding endlessly through the heavens. The vessel gleams as though made of pure gold. Its curved prow rises high, carved in the shape of a falcon's head, wings outstretched, feathers picked out in shining lapis and turquoise. The hull glows softly, not burning but radiant, and the water beneath it is liquid dawn, spreading warmth across the stillness. Ra himself stands tall at the centre of the barque, his form powerful yet serene. His head is that of a falcon, crowned with the blazing sun disk, encircled by the serpent of protection. Yet though the sun gleams above him, it does not dazzle. Its light is softened, filtered, gentle enough to warm, but never to blind. His gaze falls upon you, and instead of a majesty that overwhelms, you feel only a steady calm, as if the sun itself has bent low to cradle you in light. His presence is vast, but not frightening. It is the warmth of daybreak, after the long night, the reassurance that even in darkness, light will always return. Child of the earth, his voice echoes, though it feels more like a vibration within the air than spoken sound. You walk the path of the endless night, yet even here the sun rises for you. He extends one arm, and with a slow gesture, the bark draws closer to the shore of light. The golden planks lower like a ramp, inviting you aboard. You step carefully onto the vessel. The moment your foot touches the golden surface, warmth spreads up through your body, as though the sun has entered your veins. Not burning, not heavy, but comforting, like lying beneath sunlight on a spring morning. The bark sways softly, and as you stand upon it, the vessel begins to move again, gliding across the river of radiance. Beneath you, the currents flow not like water, but like light itself, rippling in waves of gold and rose and faint silver. Ra turns his gaze ahead, steering the vessel with a staff of shining bronze. Around him, other divine forms appear, guardians of the sun's passage. Their outlines shimmer, indistinct, like silhouettes made of flame. They do not speak, but you feel their quiet presence, a company of protectors who travel with the Solar Barque through eternity. The sky shifts slowly as you ride. You see constellations bending, stars folding into the glow, the heavens rearranging themselves as the boat sails onward. Time feels meaningless here. Each moment lingers, stretches, dissolves. You are carried on a tide outside of time, guided by the God who rules the endless rhythm of day and night. Ra looks back at you once more. His eyes gleam, not fierce, but filled with endless patience. The sun does not abandon, he says. Even in the deepest night I'm there, waiting. You walk not in shadow, but in the promise of light. You breathe deeply, and the air itself tastes golden, filled with warmth that soothes every corner of your being. Your thoughts slow, your muscles release. Your spirit drifts weightless. The bark glides on until the glow of the horizon changes once more. The golden radiance softens, folding back into twilight. The vessel slows, and at last it touches a shore of dark stone, carved with symbols that gleam faintly in the dimness. Ra raises his staff, and the ramp lowers once more. You step off the bark, and though the warmth lingers within you, the god does not follow. He remains upon his shining vessel, poised at the centre of the river of light. He bows his head, falcon eyes watchful, the sun disk glowing steadily above. You are not alone, he says once more, his voice receding like the final echo of sunset. The path continues. Walk gently, and know that light will meet you again. The bark rises upon the radiant waters, drifting back into the glow until it becomes a silhouette, then a shimmer, then only memory. You turn, and Anubis still walks beside you, silent, his presence a steady anchor. The path curves forward, leading into halls carved of obsidian, walls etched with hieroglyphs that shimmer faintly in the dim light. As you step into the passage, the air grows stiller, deeper, hushed as though a vast presence waits within. And indeed, in the distance, seated upon a great throne, a figure of calm and gravity begins to take shape. Osiris, lord of the Afterlife, awaits. The passage narrows as you walk, the obsidian walls shimmering faintly with etched symbols. Each hieroglyph seems alive, glowing softly, their forms bending into curves of birds, reeds and stars. They do not speak aloud, yet they hum gently in your mind, like the far-off echo of chants still rising in the temples of the living. Anubis moves with silent grace at your side, leading you deeper. His jackal head tilts slightly, as though he is listening to sounds that do not reach your ears, but he does not waver. He walks with certainty, and in his presence you feel the assurance of safety, as though no shadow could touch you while he remains near. The air grows cooler as you advance, the hush deepening until the silence itself feels like a cloak. Ahead faint light glows, green and gold, like sunlight filtered through emerald glass. It spills outward, steady and luminous, and as you draw closer the corridor opens into a vast hall. Here, the walls rise high, vanishing into shadow. Pillars carved with lotus blossoms and papyrus stalks line the chamber, stretching upward like a forest of stone. At the centre stands a throne of shining alabaster and gold, flanked by tall standards crowned with feathers and emblems of eternity. Upon this throne sits Osiris, lord of the afterlife. His form is regal but serene, clothed in white linen that gleams softly in the green-gold glow. A tall crown rests upon his head, adorned with twin plumes and a central spiral, the Atef crown of kingship beyond death. His skin glows with the hue of verdant fields, the colour of renewal, of rebirth, of life eternal. In his hands he holds the crook and flail, crossed over his chest, symbols not of punishment, but of guardianship and care. His eyes, deep and endless, rest upon you. They do not burn, they do not intimidate. They are steady, filled with the calm of one who rules not through force, but through balance and eternity. Anubis bows low, placing his staff upon the ground, and steps back, allowing you to stand before Osiris. The great god inclines his head ever so slightly, acknowledging your arrival. Child of the earth, his voice resonates, slow and measured, each word echoing as though it were spoken through eternity itself. You have come as all must come. The path brings every soul here, across the river, through the night, into the halls of truth. Do not fear. You are known. You are seen. His words settle upon you like a warm mantle. There is no sense of trial, no sense of harsh judgment, only recognition, only the knowledge that you are part of this eternal rhythm, as countless souls have been before you. The glow around Osiris pulses faintly, as though in rhythm with your heartbeat. It calms you further, slowing your breath, loosening the last threads of tension from your body. Here you will rest a while, he continues, and here you will remember that every step, every breath, every moment has been carried with you. Nothing is lost, nothing is forgotten. As he speaks, you see images flickering in the green-gold light, glimpses of your journey, shadows of the boat gliding across the Nile, the priest wrapping you with care, the gaze of Thoth as he recorded your name. All of it woven together, each piece part of a greater whole. Osiris raises his hands slightly, and the crook and flail shimmer in the light. The hall itself seems to breathe, expanding softly, filling with the scent of lotus blossoms and fresh earth after rain. The silence grows fuller, richer, until it feels like you are wrapped not only in stillness but in presence itself. Go on, Osiris says at last. There are words waiting for you, words that open, words that protect. They are older than sand, older than stone, and they will guide you as you walk further still. His voice lingers in the chamber long after the sound has faded, like an echo that will never fully vanish. You bow your head, not out of compulsion, but out of quiet gratitude. His gaze does not leave you, steady and calm as you turn once more to the path ahead. Anubis resumes his place at your side. The glow of Osiris fades slowly behind you, though it never truly disappears. It feels as though his presence will remain with you always, no matter how far you travel. The hall narrows again, becoming a long corridor lined with painted scenes. The walls are filled with images of fields, rivers, flocks, and families. Visions of abundance, of joy, of peace. The colours glow in the flickering torchlight, blues of the Nile, greens of lotus stalks, golds of the harvest. Here the voices begin again, not spoken aloud but murmuring softly in your mind. The words of the Book of the Dead, the sacred spells themselves. They float like whispers, weaving around you, soothing, protective. The cadence is like a lullaby, older than memory. The corridor opens once more, and you feel yourself entering a new space, one woven not of stone, but of sound and word. The spells themselves begin to unfold, each one a doorway, each one a guide. You step gently into this place, where language itself becomes light, and the words cradle you like hands of air. The air grows softer as you step forward, as though you have left behind the weight of halls and stone and entered a place woven from words alone. The corridor dissolves into a wide chamber, where there are no walls, no ceiling, only space filled with shimmering light. That light flickers, forming shapes curving into letters. The hieroglyphs themselves seem to hover in the air, alive and fluid, glowing in shades of gold, turquoise, and deep lapis blue. They drift and spiral, slow and graceful, like feathers caught in a current. And as they move, they speak. Not in a language your ears can hear, but in a rhythm your heart understands. The ancient words of the Book of the Dead, words that guided countless souls before you, now rise softly in your mind. They are lullabies of eternity, protective verses to ease your steps. The doors open for you, they whisper. The doors open for you. The doors open for you. The path ahead is clear. The words repeat, not insistently, but patiently, like waves on a shore. Each time they echo, they seem to sink deeper until you feel them woven into your very breath. The waters part for you. The waters part for you. Your steps are light upon the current. Your way is unbroken. You walk slowly among the glowing symbols, and with each step another spell unfolds. Your tongue is true. Your voice is steady. The gatekeepers know your name. The guardians step aside. The hieroglyphs swirl, circling around you like a halo of glowing birds. Some form into the shapes of eyes, the eye of Horus, watching with benevolence. Others take the form of ankhs, the sign of life, glowing softly as though offering their blessing. Your heart is strong. Your soul is protected. Your path is bright. The words repeat, longer this time, stretching like a chant. They rise and fall, the cadence steady, hypnotic, easing you into a rhythm that feels endless. You could walk forever in this sound, never needing to arrive, never needing to hurry. Your heart is strong. Your soul is protected. Your path is bright. Your heart is strong. Your soul is protected. Your path is bright. The light intensifies not sharply, but in a glowing swell, as though each affirmation adds to a great pool of calm. The air hums faintly, like strings of a harp touched by invisible hands. You close your eyes and simply drift, letting the words wash over you. The ground beneath your feet seems to dissolve, and you feel as though you are floating in the sound itself. The shadows flee before you. The waters rise to hold you. The doors open at your touch. Again and again, the words circle back gentle, unending. They weave a cocoon of sound around you, layer upon layer, until you are held in safety. The hieroglyphs shift shape once more. They form the outline of a great door, tall and glowing. Upon its surface, symbols flicker like flames. The door stands closed, and yet, as the words whisper again, it begins to swing silently open. The doors open for you. The doors open for you. The path ahead is clear. You step through, and beyond the doorway is another expanse, even vaster, even softer. This place is filled with the fragrance of lotus blossoms. Their petals drift slowly in the air, glowing faintly, falling like snowflakes of light. They land upon your shoulders, upon your hands, but they do not weigh you down. They dissolve into warmth and stillness. From the drifting petals rises another phrase, softer still, repeated until it becomes a lullaby in your very bones. Lotus of light, lotus of life, lotus of eternity. You are crowned with blossoms. You are crowned with peace. You breathe deeply, and the scent of the lotus fills you, cool, sweet, eternal. The words linger, swaying gently, a song without beginning or end. Lotus of light, lotus of life, lotus of eternity, you are crowned with blossoms, you are crowned with peace. The repetition eases you further, each phrase slower than the last. You feel your own breath matching their rhythm, slower, deeper, calmer. The hieroglyphs circle around you once more, and their whispers return in waves. Nothing bars your way, nothing blocks your steps. All doors open, all waters part, all paths are bright. The words repeat over and over, a cascade of calm. They are not commands, not demands. They are simple truths, spoken until they become part of you. Nothing bars your way, nothing blocks your steps. All doors open, all waters part, all paths are bright. You float further into the chamber of words, your spirit lighter with each repetition. The hieroglyphs fade and return, pulsing like fireflies in the night. The lullabies continue, endless, wrapping you in layer after layer of peace. The chamber does not end, or perhaps it does, but you no longer need to search for its borders. Here, there is no edge, only words, only protection, only calm. And as you drift deeper still, you sense that something waits ahead. Beyond the lullabies, beyond the glowing hieroglyphs, lies a vast and solemn place where the heart itself will be weighed. But even now, the words do not leave you. They continue, soft as breath, reassuring you. Your heart is strong. Your spirit is free. Your path is bright. The lullabies fade slowly, like ripples in a pond dissolving into stillness. The glowing hieroglyphs drift apart and dissolve into air, leaving you walking in silence once more. The path is broad now, smoother than before, and it leads you into a hall so vast it feels like you are entering the heart of eternity itself. This is the Hall of Ma'at, the place where truth is measured, where balance is revealed. Yet it does not feel severe, nor does it carry the sting of judgment. Instead, the hall greets you with calm and luminous stillness. The ceiling arches high above, painted with stars that gleam faintly, their light flickering like distant lamps. Torches line the walls, flame steady, their glow painting the stone in shades of gold and amber. Pillars carved with wings and feathers rise like guardians of silence, their shadows tall and protective. At the far end of the hall, you see the great scales of Ma'at. They stand upon a dais of polished black stone, their arms gleaming like beaten bronze, balanced so finely that even the faintest breath might tip them. Upon one side rests a single white feather, pure and weightless, glowing softly in the torchlight. This is the feather of Ma'at, the symbol of truth, of harmony, of cosmic balance. On the other side of the scale is an empty dish, waiting. You know, without needing to be told, that it is meant for the heart, not the heart of flesh and blood, but the heart of spirit, your essence, your truth, the measure of your being. Anubis steps forward, his jackal eyes calm, his hands steady. With infinite gentleness, he reaches toward your chest. You feel no pain, no tearing, only the lightest sensation, as though he has lifted something weightless from within you. He holds your heart in his hands, and it glows softly, pulsing with faint golden light. He carries it with reverence to the scale and places it in the waiting dish. For a moment the scales tilt, rocking faintly. The feather glows brighter. The heart pulses once, twice. Then the balance steadies, the arm settling into perfect stillness. The hall seems to breathe with you. The torches flicker, then calm. The stars painted above seem to gleam more brightly. A hush falls deeper still, wrapping you in certainty. From the shadows at the dais, another figure steps forward. She is tall, radiant and serene. Upon her head rests the ostrich feather that bears her name. This is Ma'at herself, goddess of truth, of harmony, of the balance that holds the universe steady. Her eyes are clear, her face calm, her presence steady as the earth itself. She places her hand gently above the scales, and the feather lifts faintly, glowing brighter still. "Your heart is light," she whispers, her voice like the hush of wind through reeds. "Your spirit is free." The words settle over you like the softest blanket, warming, reassuring. You breathe in, and the air tastes of cool water, of lotus petals, of stillness after storm. Your heart is light, your spirit is free. She repeats the phrase again and again, each time softer, slower, until it feels less like a sentence and more like a lullaby. Your heart is light, your spirit is free. Your heart is light, your spirit is free. The scales remain steady, the balance holds unshaken. Thoth appears once more, stepping from the shadows, his ibis head bent as he unfurls his glowing scroll. With his reed pen he records the result, each stroke of ink shining briefly before fading into permanence. His voice murmurs like a bird's call. It is written. The balance is true. You feel no sense of trial, no weight of scrutiny. Instead you feel release. The heart that beat within you, the heart that carried your days and nights, has been seen, measured and found light. The universe itself acknowledges it, and in this acknowledgement you are freed. The hall glows brighter for a moment, as though the very walls rejoice in the balance. The torches lean inward, their flame steady and strong. The painted stars overhead shimmer like jewels. Ma'at lowers her hand, her feather shining one last time before its glow softens. "Go on," she says, her voice still gentle. "The way is clear. You will walk in peace." Anubis retrieves your heart from the scales and returns it to your chest, placing it softly back where it belongs. You feel it settle, lighter than before, glowing faintly within you. No heaviness, no burden, only ease. It beats calmly, each thrum resonant with balance. The scales fade into shadow, dissolving as though they were always made of dream. Ma'at steps back, her figure shimmering like mist in sunlight, until she too is gone. Only the calm remains, the reassurance lingering in every breath. Your heart is light, the hall seems to whisper. Your spirit is free. The words echo in your mind as you turn once more to the path ahead. Anubis walks beside you. Thoth's scroll glows faintly behind you. The torches flicker their blessing. And beyond the hall you see light waiting, not the solemn glow of judgment, but the soft gleam of dawn, fields of gold and green stretching endlessly. The realm the Egyptians called the Field of Reeds. You step toward it, and the path opens wide. The great hall fades behind you, and the silence of stone gives way to open air once more. You step forward, and the first breath you draw feels different, lighter, warmer, filled with the scent of earth after rain. The path beneath your feet softens, turning from cool stone to grass that bends gently under your steps. Ahead, the horizon opens into an endless plain, green and golden, beneath a sky the colour of dawn. This is the Field of Reeds, the paradise of the blessed. The air is filled with the rustle of tall reeds, swaying in a soft wind. Their stalks are bright and strong, their feathery tops golden as they catch the sunlight. They stretch endlessly across the fields, rising and falling like waves upon a sea of green. The sound they make is like whispers, soothing and constant, a lullaby sung by the earth itself. Water flows in gentle channels, glistening streams winding through the plain. Their surfaces gleam with the glow of sky, and along their banks lotus flowers bloom in shades of pale blue and radiant white. Some blossoms float upon the surface, drifting lazily, their petals opening and closing with the rhythm of the breeze. You step nearer to the water, and the reeds part to make way for you. As you reach the bank, you see the reflection of your own form, calm and glowing, the burdens of the living world dissolved. The reflection smiles faintly, at peace, as though it too is glad you have arrived. A bird rises from the reeds, its wings spreading wide. It is a heron, its feathers white with a faint shimmer of gold at the tips. It circles once above you, then drifts away across the fields, its cry long and sweet, echoing like a song that will never end. You walk further, and the fields seem to welcome you with abundance. Trees rise in the distance, heavy with fruit, figs, dates, pomegranates glowing like rubies in the light. Beyond them you glimpse grain fields, tall stalks swaying, waiting for harvest. Everything here is rich, full, and eternal. There is no hunger, no want, only endless provision. The breeze brushes your skin, warm and soft. It carries with it faint laughter, not loud, not jarring, but gentle and kind. Shapes appear among the reeds, figures of people, serene and smiling, their faces filled with calm joy. They carry no weight, no sadness. They wave as you pass, as though greeting you as a neighbour, a friend who has at last come home. The path curves onward, winding past streams beneath trees, through fields where the grasses sway and the sun plays in ripples of light. Every step feels lighter, every breath deeper. Time seems to dissolve. There is no rush, no schedule, only the endless unfolding of peace. You pause beside a pool where the water is so clear, it shines like crystal. Fish swim lazily beneath the surface, their scales glinting like coins scattered upon the bottom. A pair of ibis wade at the edges, dipping their long beaks into the water, moving with quiet grace. You sit at the edge for a while, trailing your fingers across the surface. The water is cool but not cold, refreshing and alive, flowing over your hand like silk. You could stay here forever, and perhaps you will, for here forever is not heavy. It is gentle like sleep without end. And when you rise again, the path leads you deeper into the heart of the fields. The sun above never burns but glows warmly, casting everything in a golden haze. The reeds sway, the lotus blossoms nod. The trees stand strong, their shadows long and soothing. Every detail is a lullaby, every colour soft and steady. You walk until you come to a small rise, a hill covered with soft grass. You climb it slowly, each step easier than the last, until you reach the top. From here, the field of reeds stretches in every direction, endless green and gold beneath the endless sky. Streams glisten, birds soar, and the wind sings through the stalks like 1,000 soft voices. You lie down upon the grass. It cradles you as though it were made for you alone, cool and comforting. Above, the sky glows with the soft hues of dawn, pale rose, golden amber, faint silver. The sun is warm upon your skin. You close your eyes and the whispers of the reeds become your lullaby. Rest now, rest now. The journey is complete. You are home. The words repeat slow each time, dissolving into the rustle of the wind until they are only a memory, a gentle rhythm at the edge of sleep. Rest now. The journey is complete. You are home. Your breath slows. Your body sinks deeper into the grass. The warmth of the sun, the coolness of the breeze, the murmur of water, the whisper of reeds, all cradle you, all carry you further. There is no need to move, no need to think. The path has brought you here, and here you remain, safe, eternal, at peace. Rest now, in the eternal fields. The air seems to sigh. Rest now as sleep carries you into dreams that are endless, calm, and bright. The words linger, fading slowly, until there is nothing left but silence, a silence that holds you, protects you, and lulls you into the deepest, most peaceful rest. And so you drift into sleep, into eternity, into calm. You remain upon the hill, the soft grass holding you as if it remembers the shape of your rest. The breeze moves through the reeds in long, quiet breaths, and the sound folds over itself, layer upon layer, until it becomes a single endless hush. Far below, channels of water wind like silver threads, stitching the fields together, drawing light wherever they pass. When you rise, you do so without effort. Your body feels weightless, your steps as quiet as petals on water. The slope carries you down into a small valley where the reeds grow tall, their stalks bright with life. A path opens through them at your approach, the feathery heads dipping as though they recognize you. Here, in this gentle abundance, nothing is withheld. Everything is welcome. Everything is enough. You find a reed house near the water's edge, walls woven of stalks, roof thatched with golden fronds, doorway open to the breeze. It is simple and perfect, as if the place has been waiting for you for a very long time. Inside, the air is cool and sweet. A low couch of woven rushes rests beside a window, cut in the shape of a lotus. Sunlight leans through the opening in soft stripes, laying warmth upon the floor. Beside the couch sits a small figure carved of faience, blue-green and bright. It is a Shabti, a little helper, placed with the departed in the world of the living to promise assistance here. In gentle stories told for comfort, such figures would rise to lend their hands so that paradise would never feel like labour. Here, the Shabti seems almost to breathe. When you look upon it, you feel the certainty that anything needed will arrive with ease, that every task in this place is more like play, more like a song. A basket waits by the doorway, woven reeds creaking softly. You lift it and walk back into the fields. The grain is high and heavy, heads nodding in the wind, shimmering like a green-gold sea. You pass your hands over the stalks, and they release what you need without effort. The basket fills itself in a quiet rhythm. A handful, a breath, a handful, a breath. There is no rush and no remainder. Everything keeps its balance. Everything renews. Across the channel, fruit trees lean over the water. Figs plump and cool, dates glistening, pomegranates like lanterns of ruby glass. You touch a branch, and the fruit comes free with a sigh, landing in your palm as if it has chosen you. The scent is honeyed and bright. You taste at peace, and the sweetness floods your senses, opening the body wide to the warm day. This is the way of the field of reeds, to receive without taking, to hold without gripping, to be full without the need to count. You return to the reed house and lay the basket down. The little Shabti stands where you left it, still and faithful. Outside, ibis walk the margins of the water with patient, deliberate steps. Their reflections double them, white upon silver, as though the world wants to give back everything it is given. Dragonflies skim the surface in quiet flashes, stitching light to water, water to air. You sit in the doorway and let the breeze move through you. The rhythm of it is slow and deep, like the breath of a sleeping earth. In that rhythm, you remember the long papyrus scrolls that were placed with the departed, how families believed that written words could become bridges, how prayers could be gentle tools, how songs could be paths across the night. You do not need to speak any of these aloud. The promise of them flows here like an underground spring, forever present, forever near. The sun turns a little further, and shadows lengthen across the threshold. You lie back on the couch of woven rushes, and watch the stripes of light creep along the floor. On the far wall, The moving bands of brightness look like ripples on a shallow riverbed, soft and regular. You breathe in time with them, slow, slower, until your body seems to float without moving, as if the couch were a boat and the room a pool of gold. From very far away a flute begins to play. The sound is thin and clear, rising from somewhere beyond the trees. It is not a song to rouse or stir. It is a song to lean into, a thread to follow with your breath. On its notes travel images of fields, the smell of fresh-cooked grain, the coolness of water lapping at one's ankles. The melody is simple, repeating, each phrase lower than the last, like a hand guiding your heartbeat down, down, down. You close your eyes and the reed house grows even quieter. The little shabti stands guard, calm and endless. The flute continues to sing its single-syllable lullaby. Between one breath and the next, the world slows to a near stop, and you drift in place, carried without moving, held without effort, home without striving. When you wake, if waking is the word, the sky has softened into the paleness before evening. The fields do not dim so much as deepen, colours growing round and quiet. The water channels gather the light and hold it, so that everything seems to glow from within. You walk back to the bank and find a small boat waiting there, woven of reeds, its hull sealed smooth, its form curved like a crescent moon. No one has tied it, yet it does not drift. It rocks as though eager to rise but content to wait, attending only to you. You step inside and the boat steadies at once, as if it were learning your weight and choosing to hold you. The current is invisible, but it is there, a patient pull that carries you between the banks. Reeds lean over your shoulders, stroking the air. Lotus blossoms nod as you pass. The water murmurs comfort. The breeze answers in the same soft language, meaning without words. As the boat glides, memories stir, not sharp or demanding, but gentled by distance. You see the world of the living the way it might be painted on a tomb wall. Rows of grain, a house with open doors. Hands passing cups, friends sharing shade. Each moment holds still long enough to be honoured and then floats away, becoming light. Nothing clasps, nothing clings. In this place, even the past breathes easily. A heron lifts from the water and follows at a measured distance. Its long legs trail like brushstrokes. Its wings beat with unhurried grace. You watch it and feel your chest mirror its rhythm, widening on the rise, settling on the fall. The boat seems to breathe with you, hull expanding and relaxing in the time with your lungs. The whole world, it seems, wants to help you rest. Ahead, reeds part to reveal an opening shaped like the doorway of a temple, arching and high. No stone stands there, only air arranged into form by light. Hieroglyphs drift along its edges as though the words themselves are pillars. You pass beneath, and the boat makes almost no sound, just a whisper like silk on silk. Beyond the threshold, the channel widens into a lake that holds the sky like a mirror cupped in gentle hands. The boat does not stop. It lets itself turn in a slow circle, a single drawn-out spiral, so that every shoreline, every clump of reeds, every lingering cloud is seen and then seen again. The repetition is soothing, each return deeper than the last, each glance another opportunity to set something down. From the far side of the lake a soft percussion begins, not drums exactly, but something like them. The warm palm speech of skins played with great tenderness. The rhythm is slow as a walking heart. It threads through the quiet, a low reassurance that the world knows how to keep time without hurry. You dip your fingertips into the water and trail them there, letting the lake read the lines of your hand. The coolness climbs the skin in a spreading sigh. Circles widen and slip away, carrying with them the last of the day's thoughts, a handful at a time, then fewer, then none. Your hand grows still. The water grows still. The mind grows still. In the gathering hush, a thought arrives as lightly as a feather. All that was difficult has been witnessed. All that was gentle has been kept. All that is needed is provided. It is not a sentence so much as a knowledge, the way sunlight is known by warmth. You sit with it until there is no difference between sitting and being held. The boat carries you toward a stand of papyrus, where the stems are thick and tall, their feathered heads painting circles against the sky. In their shade you glide into a narrow mooring of water like a silver thread. The boat touches the bank without a sound. You step out and the ground receives you like a friend who has been waiting, arms open, patience unending. The heron passes overhead and disappears into the reeds. The percussion fades. The lake holds its breath. In the gentle emptiness that remains, you hear a new voice, not from without but from within. Perhaps it is the echo of old ink on papyrus, perhaps the murmur of a priest's chant softened by centuries. Whatever its source, the voice says only this, and says it kindly. All doors open, all waters part, all paths are bright. It says it once, then again, each repetition slower, like footsteps diminishing on a long straight road until you can no longer tell whether they are still moving or you have fallen wholly still. You stay where you are until the first star appears, not as a pinprick, but as a bloom. Night begins the slow work of unfolding petal by petal, and the fields accept the darkness as easily as they accepted the day. Night in the field of reeds is not a closing, but a soft opening. The sky rises deep and tender, and the stars seem near enough to touch. The air cools as if it has drawn a long, satisfied breath. Somewhere, water slips over stone and becomes a single silver thread of sound. A pathway reveals itself in starlight, pale as milk, leading between trees whose leaves lift and lie in rhythms older than speech. You walk there without thinking to begin or end, the feet finding their pace the way a river finds its bed. Moonlight rivers down the trunks and pools in quiet cups among the roots. In a grove at the path's turning you find a small shrine, not grand, not heavy with ornament, but simple as a song hummed under the breath. A cow's face is carved upon the door lintel, wide-eyed and gentle. Hathor is remembered here, lady of joy, of music, of welcome. The sistrum she favours is set upon a shelf, its frame curved, its tiny rods strung with rings that would sing if the air chose to wake them. You touch nothing, there is no need. The shrine's nearness is enough. Joy is not a blaze here, but a warmth, a cup of milk in the hand, a smile that continues even after the face has grown still. The grove holds that warmth evenly, quietly, without asking you to lift it or keep it alive. It is simply there. From the edge of the trees, gentle voices rise, not words, only vowel sounds, shapes of breath shaped into tone. They gather like birds and perch in your chest, light and sure. Each tone settles the body a little further. Each tone turns down the mind another degree. If there were a measure for ease, the grove would fill it and then spill over. You think of all the doorways you passed, all the thresholds you crossed, and how each one opened itself without struggle at the touch of simple presence. You think of ink that turned to light in Thoth's hand, of Osiris, green with renewal, speaking not of burden but of belonging, of Ra, whose brightness warmed without burning, who promised return and kept it. The thought does not become a chain of ideas. It dissolves into a feeling that has only one name, enough. Somewhere a sistrum breathes, not shaken but stirred by the faintest wind. Its rings kiss one another and the sound is like soft water on glass. The music does not ask you to listen. It only gives you permission to stop listening to anything else. You lower yourself to the ground and lean back against a tree. The bark is smooth, shaped by years of patient growth into a form that fits you as if you were planned for each other. Above, the leaves sway once and become still. A star passes behind a branch and reappears on the other side without hurry. Time loosens its belt and sits down beside you. Breath gathers and lengthens. In. A small tide upon the shore. Out. A longer tide returning to the sea. In. The faintest lift of a reed head. Out. The field bending as one, and rising again, and bending and rising. With each cycle the body agrees to set one more thing down. It does not matter what. The grove asks for nothing. It receives everything and turns it into quiet. The shrine's doorway, cut with the calm face of the cow, holds a square of night. Within that square you can almost see a path of starlight pouring through, as if the sky were a pitcher and the world a cup. You drink from it without moving, and the taste is cool, sweet, clean. At ease, the night seems to say, not with sound, but with the way it hangs on the branches. At ease, at ease. You do not count the repetitions. You do not need to. Ease multiplies itself the way starlight multiplies upon still water, without effort, without noise, without end. When you rise, the grove has grown even quieter, if such a thing is possible. The shrine rests in its pool of shadow. The sistrum sleeps. You walk back to the open fields where the reeds gleam like threads of moonlight woven through the earth. The water channels have become long mirrors. The sky, tipped with silver, leans down to greet them. Here is a place where the ground is soft and the grass holds both cool and warmth. You lie upon it, and the world adjusts itself around you, accommodating your weight as gently as an embrace. The reed tops sway above, and their whispering becomes the language of sleep. Syllables without sharp edges, sentences without endings. Breath moves through you as tide through a quiet inlet. In. A small rise of the shore. Out. A long return to the great sea. In. The lightest lift of a leaf. Out. The entire valley lowering its voice. You think of the feather of truth, bright and sure. You think of your heart placed upon the scale, steady as dawn. You remember the words that met you there. Your heart is light. Your spirit is free. The phrase returns now not as memory but as climate, the very weather of the body. It settles upon you the way dew finds every blade of grass, the way moonlight finds every unhurried surface. Your hands grow warm. Your feet grow warm. The muscles of the face release by degrees, like knots laid open by patient fingers. The eyes become deep harbours where the ocean can rest. The forehead smooths. The jaw swings on its hinges and then forgets it has hinges at all. The mouth becomes the soft seam of a well-made garment. Somewhere, the first bird of the night calls, a single note, offered to the dark and received without comment. Another answers at a distance, not echoing, but agreeing. The conversation ends there. Agreement is enough. The mind, like a lake, holds the reflection of a single star. The surface is so still that the star does not tremble. You look at it, and it looks back. It does not ask. It does not tell. It merely is. The being of it meets the being of you, and everything that is not being lets go of its small need to continue. All doors open, the world says, because in this place that is the only thing the world can say. All waters part. All paths are bright. You do not answer. There is no opposite here to require a reply. The body grows heavier, then lighter, then neither. You float without rising. You sink without falling. The grass holds you perfectly at the boundary, where choosing is unnecessary. The night folds its great wings above you, and then forgets it ever had to move them. The stars hold their places. The moon, generous and patient, keeps its watch. If a thought comes, it arrives as a feather comes to ground, with no consequence but the briefest change in where the light is. If a memory turns in its sleep, it does so without waking. If a hope opens its eyes, it closes them again at once, smiling because everything hoped for is already here. The field of reeds accepts the exact shape of your rest. The water keeps its small songs, the reeds their long whisper. In the distance, the reed house waits with its window of lotus light. The little shabti keeps its faithful stillness. The basket sits where you left it, brimful as a promise kept. The boat rocks in its hidden place, learning the shape of the next breeze. All of it continues without you needing to hold any part. And so the story narrows to a single shining thread, breath, in, a quiet greeting, out, a quieter reply, in, the body says here, out, the world says home, in, here, out, home. The words that began this journey drift back, changed by the distance they have travelled. Rest now, in the eternal fields, as sleep carries you into dreams that are endless, calm and bright. They do not need to be spoken aloud. They spread through muscle and marrow, through star and reed, and the world understands. You are already sleeping. You have already arrived. The fields keep watch, the waters keep time. The night keeps its promise, and the story keeps you. The night deepens, but it is not heavy. It spreads like silk, unrolling, smooth and patient, covering the fields in a sheen of silver. The reeds sway more slowly now, as though they too have grown drowsy, their whispers lengthening into sighs. You rise from the grass, though the ground clings softly, reluctant to let you go. Your steps are slower, not from weariness, but from a kind of dream gravity, the air itself urging you into gentleness. The path leads you toward a glimmering pool, round and still as a polished mirror. When you kneel beside it, the water is perfectly clear. Stars float on its surface, reflections so sharp, they seem like jewels scattered just for you. But when you peer closer, you realize these are not only stars of the sky, they are memories, fragments of your own life, softened into light. You see a face that once smiled at you, a voice that once spoke kindly. You see moments of laughter, fleeting and bright. You see places that held you, a room, a doorway, a quiet corner beneath a tree. All of them glow faintly, repeating themselves in the ripples. There is no ache in these images, no sharpness. They are not regrets nor longings. They are lanterns of remembrance, shining without asking. The pool does not clutch at them. It lets them drift, rise and fade again. You feel the ease of this release seep into you. You too can remember without holding, love without clinging, release without loss. The reeds bend closer, brushing your shoulders as if in agreement. From their tips fall tiny drops of dew, cool on your skin. Each drop feels like a blessing, a benediction from the night. When you rise again, the pool closes itself, its images dissolving into simple starlight. You walk on, and soon the air thickens with fragrance, sweet and resinous. You come upon a small grove of trees where incense burns in invisible braziers. The smoke curls upward in ribbons of pale blue, twisting into shapes that remind you of the hieroglyphs you saw earlier. The smoke does not sting. It settles over you like a soft shawl. You breathe it in, and the taste is of cedar, myrrh, and honey. The same scents that once filled the tombs of kings, now turned into a dream perfume to guide you deeper. Above the grove, the moon hangs larger now, luminous and low. A halo spreads around it, silver bleeding into indigo. It feels close enough to reach, though you need not stretch for it. Its light already covers you, patient and watchful. The air hums faintly with a rhythm, not quite song, not quite silence. Perhaps it is the breathing of the gods, still watching over you even here. Perhaps it is the music of balance itself, the heartbeat of Ma'at woven into the night. Whatever its source, It fills you with a sense that you are not adrift. You are carried always, always. Your path continues until the grove thins. Ahead lies an expanse of open meadow, soft as a carpet covered in flowers that gleam faintly in moonlight. Their petals are pale, almost translucent, shimmering with colours that shift as you move. Blue to silver, silver to violet, violet to white. They open slowly as you pass, bowing to the weight of your gaze, releasing more fragrance into the air. You lie down among them and close your eyes. The flowers press their cool faces against your skin, their stems bending gently beneath you. The earth beneath is warm, like stone kissed by sun earlier in the day. The combination of warmth and cool, of softness and fragrance, sends you drifting deeper still. Above, the stars continue to shift. They rearrange themselves into shapes that remind you of sails, of boats, of doorways. Each constellation feels like a continuation of your journey, but also its completion. Every pattern says the same thing in a different form. You have arrived, you may rest. The flowers breathe around you, their fragrance lulling, their glow dimming slowly as if to ease the eyes toward darkness. The night folds itself again, tighter, closer, softer. You do not need to move. You do not need to think. You are already where you were meant to be. When your eyes open again, dawn is just beginning to stir. The horizon blushes faintly, a thin line of rose and gold. The field of reeds glows with the promise of another endless day. Here, dawn is never abrupt. It unfolds in slow layers, each colour resting upon the next. The reeds shimmer as the first light touches them, their golden heads sparkling with dew. The water channels reflect the sky, and for a moment it seems the heavens have fallen into the earth, merging into one vast mirror. You walk slowly through the fields, each step cushioned by the grass. Birds lift their heads, stretching their wings in the morning glow. Their cries are soft, unhurried, greeting the day without urgency. You watch them fly low across the reeds, white and gold against the growing blue. As you move, you see workers in the distance, not of flesh and bone, but of dream and memory. They bend to gather grain, laughing as they work, their baskets filling without strain. You realize they are the Shabti figures risen into life, their carved forms turned to companions. They do not toil out of necessity. They move because it is joy to move, to shape, to harvest abundance that never ends. One turns and waves to you, a smile bright upon its face. You wave back, and the gesture feels natural, effortless. This is a place where even the smallest action holds kindness. The air warms with the sun's slow climb. Shadows shorten, colours brighten, the dew lifts. Everything gleams as though new, yet nothing here ever ages. It is always morning, always beginning. You reach a small rise and look out. Beyond the reeds the horizon stretches without edge. You sense that if you walked forever you would only find more of this. More water, more trees, more fruit, more fields, more sky. Eternity not as weight, but as continuity. Nothing ends, nothing depletes, nothing diminishes. The thought soothes you, smoothing every line of worry that might once have existed. In this place, there is no scarcity. Everything gives and gives again. Time itself bends to ensure you are always replenished. You lower yourself onto the soft ground once more. The warmth of the sun presses lightly upon your skin. You close your eyes, and the field of reeds hums its song around you. Water, reeds, wind, birds. Each sound blends into the next until there is no distinction. The song is whole, complete, unbroken. The words return unbidden but welcome, floating like feathers on the air. All doors open, all waters part, all paths are bright. They repeat slower, softer, until they are not words at all but simply the rhythm of your breath. You drift again, sinking not into sleep but into a sleep within sleep, a layer beneath all others. You do not know if you are dreaming, or if the field of reeds is the dream that contains all others. It does not matter. All that matters is the calm. Let the day lengthen and soften. Let the reeds keep time with your breath. Let the water repeat the promises you already trust. You return to the reed house with the lotus-shaped window. Within, light falls in calm stripes across the floor. The small blue-green shabti still stands where you left it, living its patient vow, to help without effort, to guard without weight. You sit beside it for a while, and its quiet steadiness enters you the way warmth enters hands cupped around a bowl. On the low couch of woven rushes you lie down. The room becomes a boat again, and the floor a golden pool. Shadows of reed sway upon the wall, slower, and with them your thoughts sway and become shadows too. They lengthen, lose their edges, and finally lie down. From the window, a thin bar of light reaches to your feet. It climbs your ankles, your calves, your knees, kneading the muscles with nothing but brightness. It pauses at the hips, pulls warm in the belly, rises to the ribs and fills them, lifts the sternum like a tide. It spreads into the shoulders and pours down the arms to the fingertips, where it greets the day and returns. It finds the throat and softens it, finds the jaw and loosens it, finds the tongue and quiets it, finds the eyes and rests the lids in place. Last of all, it touches the brow, smoothing it as a thumb smooths a page before reading. You breathe. In. The world enters as cool air and leaves as kindness. Out. The world receives what you do not need and calls it offering. In. The field of reeds becomes your chest. Out. Your chest becomes the field of reeds. The lullabies of the spells gather themselves for one last long blessing. Not in the language of ink and papyrus now, but in the language of skin, bone, blood, and breath. They do not speak. They are. They lean over you as the gods leaned over you, as night leaned over you, as the boat leaned into the river, as the scales leaned into balance, as the feather leaned into truth. They lean over you and say, with the whole body of the world, you are safe, you are carried, and you are complete. Outside the channels of water carry light, like freight too precious to be hurried. A dragonfly writes a sentence across the doorway and erases it with the same stroke. The reed tops consult with the breeze and agree to say yes to everything that moves and yes to everything that is still. The room grows quieter yet. You can hear the soft tick of woven rushes relaxing beneath your weight, the way a heart relaxes after it has been told there is nothing left to do. You can hear the faint sound of the cup by the hearth cooling in its saucer. You can hear, if listening still matters, the small sound of the world loving you in 1,000 practical ways. And now the closing words return, not as instruction but as description, not as hope, but as the simple report of what is already happening. All doors open, all waters part, all paths are bright. The first line arrives and rests on your chest like a hand. The second line arrives and becomes the lengthening of your exhale. The third line arrives and becomes the loosening of your whole body around the soft, steady pulse of your heart. You do not need to remember the journey to receive its gift. Still the journey remembers you. The silver Nile in its hush, the ibis in the shallows, Anubis's lantern eyes, Thoth's patient scroll, Ra's warm bark, Osiris's green quiet, Ma'at's feather light as promise. They assemble in the doorway as evening companions do, smiling with a kind of joy that does not disturb. They nod once, and the nod means we are here as long as you are here, and longer. Your breath now, in, a leaf lifting, out, a field bending, in, a boat gliding, out, a shore accepting, in, the star, out, the lake, in, the feather, out, the balance. The stripe of light across the floor moves across the threshold and steps outside. The room keeps its brightness anyway, because the brightness is coming from you, or from sleep blooming within you, or from the field itself, which has adopted every part of you and returned you to yourself, quietly, perfectly, completely. There is nothing more to do. There is nothing more to say. There is only this: rest. Rest now in the eternal fields, as sleep carries you into dreams that are endless, calm, and bright. Rest now, where the waters remember your name and the reeds remember your breath. Rest now, beloved of the gentle gods, carried by a world designed for your peace, and rest, and rest, and rest. Sleep folds around you, but the field of reeds does not vanish. It breathes beside you, keeping its long, patient watch. The reeds lean closer, their whispering voices sow as tides. The water murmurs faintly, carrying starlight on its back. Each ripple is a syllable, and together they spell a lullaby older than time. Above the stars keep their vigil. They do not hurry, they do not fade. They simply shine, quiet and faithful. One star falls across the sky, trailing a silver thread. You do not move to follow it. You already know it has landed where it was needed. The constellations rearrange themselves as you watch, slowly, tenderly. They form shapes you recognize: the falcon wings of Ra, the balanced beam of Maat, the gentle jackal ears of Anubis. Each figure smiles upon you from the sky, and then dissolves into points of light again, as if to remind you that all forms are temporary, but all kindness is eternal. Your breathing deepens. In. The reeds sway toward you. Out. They sway away, making room. In. The waters rise to greet. Out. The waters bow in farewell. Each cycle steadier, slower, softer. The air carries warmth like a hidden blanket. It tucks itself around your shoulders, across your chest, beneath your feet. You are held as the world holds its own heartbeat. And in this holding the words return, not loudly, but whispered across the fields. All doors open, all waters part, all paths are bright. The words dissolve into silence. Silence dissolves into sleep, and still the stars keep watch. When your eyes open again, it is dawn once more. Or perhaps it is always dawn here, unfolding in slow ripples that never end. The horizon stretches wide and tender, painted with strokes of rose and amber. The field of reeds shimmers in the glow, each stalk crowned with dew that shines like 1,000 small suns. The water reflects the sky until earth and heaven are indistinguishable. You rise. The rising feels no different from floating. The ground carries you with the same patience as the river did, the same patience as the gods, the same patience as the stars. Every step is soft, soundless, inevitable. The air tastes new, as if the world has been freshly created just for this moment. Birds arc above the reeds, their wings painted gold by the sun. They cry softly, each note stretching the morning further into ease. Ahead you find another doorway of light, framed not by stone or wood, but by branches of palms leaning together. You step through, and a meadow opens, wide and quiet. Its flowers are pale as milk, their petals trembling in the breeze. They bow as you pass, then lift again, then bow once more, a rhythm older than any clock. At the meadow's centre a pool glistens. Its surface is smooth, its depth bottomless, though you don't need to know what lies beneath. You kneel and see your reflection. It is calm, luminous, free of weight. You smile at it, and it smiles back, not as echo but as companion. You lean forward, and the reflection leans too, and for a moment the two of you merge into one. Then the water ripples, and there is only the pool again, waiting, patient. You stand, and the meadow exhales. The flowers sway in unison, releasing their fragrance, faint, sweet, eternal. It settles upon your skin, upon your hair, upon your breath, until you are perfumed with peace. The sun climbs higher, shadows shorten, the day opens wide, and in its opening the words float back clear and steady. Rest now. Rest now. The journey is complete. You are home. They repeat until they are no longer words at all, only the sound of the wind in the reeds, only the silence between heartbeats. You close your eyes and the meadow holds you. The pool reflects the sky. The air bends low and whispers again. All paths are bright. The fields shimmer in endless morning light. Though here morning never hardens into day, it stretches gently, like a note held on the edge of song, sustained, unwavering. You walk among the reeds and see figures bent to the harvest, their hands moving with ease, their baskets never heavy. They laugh, but their laughter is soft like bells at a distance. It folds into the breeze carried across the plain. Every stalk of grain they touch renews itself, bending down to offer its gift, then rising tall again, unspent. The harvest is eternal, yet never a burden. It is joy given form. You move among them, and one of the workers presses a stalk of barley into your hand. It glows faintly, golden against your palm. When you lift it to your lips, it dissolves into sweetness, light as honey. Warmth spreads through you, not the warmth of effort but of abundance. You are nourished without needing to ask. The fields sing in response, a hum that begins at the edge of hearing. At first it is no more than the buzz of a bee, the stroke of wind along stalks. Then it gathers, deepens, becomes a chorus, not voices, not instruments, but something greater, the sound of plenty itself. All is given, the fields say. All is restored. All is enough. The words rise and fall like the breath of the land. They are repeated in the sway of the reeds, in the ripple of the channels, in the curve of the sun across the sky. You listen, until listening is no longer required. The words continue without you, circling endlessly, a lullaby the earth sings to itself. You lie down in the grain, and the stalks bend beneath you, soft cushioning. The workers continue their quiet gathering, their movements rhythmic, steady. You feel as though the whole field has become one vast cradle, rocking gently in the morning breeze. Sleep tugs at your edges. You close your eyes and the hum of the harvest deepens into a heartbeat that is not yours, yet includes yours, a rhythm shared between body and world. All is given, all is restored, all is enough. The refrain continues softer, slower, until it becomes silence, a silence full, glowing, alive. When your eyes open again, you are beside water. Not a narrow channel now, but a broad, endless river flowing smooth as silk. Its surface glimmers with a light that is not quite day and not quite night, a twilight river belonging to both. The current moves without sound, carrying its eternal tide. You step to the edge and place your foot in, expecting coolness. Instead, the water greets you with warmth, wrapping around your skin like cloth. You wade forward and find it holds you, buoyant, unafraid. You drift onto your back, floating. The river accepts your weight completely, carrying you as though you have always belonged to it. The sky above is a mirror of the water below, both filled with stars, both infinite. You are suspended between heavens and river, both cradling you, both endless. The current carries you past lotus blossoms that rise and fall on the surface. Their petals open as you pass, revealing golden hearts. Each blossom whispers a word, so faint you feel it more than hear it. Rest where? Rest where? Rest. The blossoms repeated endlessly, hundreds of them, a mantra stitched into the water. You close your eyes and still the current carries you, steady, slow. The river bends, but you do not need to steer. Every curve is known, every eddy softened. You are simply moved. From far away you hear the dip of oars. You open your eyes to see a barque gliding parallel to you, slender, golden, glowing faintly. No one rows it, yet it moves with the same calm rhythm as the river. Upon its deck stands a falcon figure, radiant, but softened. Solar Barque again, circling the world. He does not call to you, but his eyes meet yours, and in that gaze you feel his promise. Light never leaves, it only circles, and will circle again and again. The barque drifts onward, fading into the curve of the river, and you let your eyes fall shut once more. All doors open, whispers the current. All waters part, all paths are bright. The river carries you deeper into calm. The words dissolve into motion, and the motion dissolves into sleep. As the river releases you onto a bank, you rise to find the field of reeds waiting once more. But now it is different, quieter, dreamlike. The figures you saw before standing further away, their faces soft with distance. They do not vanish, they simply keep their watch. You understand now that they are silent companions, guardians who ask nothing, who only remain. Their presence steadies you more than words could. You walk past them slowly. Each one inclines their head as you pass. A farmer with a basket, a woman with a jug of water, a child with a papyrus toy. They smile, not with wide grins, but with the gentlest lifting of lips, the kind that says we are here. We have always been here. The path leads to a grove, where tall trees arch overhead, their branches forming a canopy. You sit upon the ground and lean against a trunk that has been growing for longer than memory. The bark presses against your back, firm but kind, and you feel your own breath sync with the slow breath of the tree. The companions gather in a circle around the grove. They do not speak, they do not move. Their stillness is a gift, showing you that being is enough. You close your eyes, and even with them shut, you feel their shapes like soft lanterns, their presence glowing around you. Time stretches. The grove holds its hush. The tree breathes with you in and out, until there is no difference between your chest and its trunk. When you open your eyes again, the companions remain, but they have stepped back further, their outlines thinning. One by one they fade into the reeds, not gone, but folded back into the world itself. You are alone, and yet you are not. The silence is proof of that. The silence is their last embrace. And then the final words come, soft, inevitable, already known. Rest now. Rest now. The journey is complete. You are home. And before you drift fully into sleep, may I offer a soft reminder. If you found comfort in this story, if these gentle wanderings eased you toward rest, you may wish to subscribe to Sleepy Stories. Each week, another tale will wait for you. Never in haste, never in fear, always ready to keep you company in the long quiet hours. The grove fades, the field fades, the river fades, the reeds fade, only rest remains. Good night, dear listener.